We all know Russell Westbrook is a top 75 player. We know how great he is. We know how great he was. We know that he might never be the player he once was in regards to being ball dominant, the main guy on a team, and the main superstar on a team. And we all know his gameplay is very good and intriguing, but it has not gotten him a championship thus far, even though he's played with multiple future Hall of Fame players. And, the question I have in regards to everything that's going down, you hear multiple reports about multiple players on the Clippers are wanting Russell Westbrook or wouldn't mind Russell Westbrook being on the roster. The question I have is, what does Kawhi think? And if you ask me, if they ask Kawhi Leonard, would he accept Russell Westbrook on his team based upon the comments and things we've heard about them not, or Kawhi not calling him back after wanting to team up, Kawhi would probably either walk out or say, hell no. And to me, the Clippers' decision is already made. Right there, the Clippers have made their decision. If Kawhi Leonard goes in there and says that, if they, bring it to his attention, which I'm pretty sure, of course, they have to bring it by, Kawhi's attention, the best player, the guy on the team, his attention, even though Paul George has openly said he wouldn't mind it, and a few other players have backed Paul George with the likes of Marcus Morris and maybe a couple of others. It's ultimately up to Kawhi Leonard, because honestly, Paul George wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Kawhi Leonard. They still have SGA, which, to me at times, damn, the way SGA is playing and how good he is, I don't know if they ever really should have let him go for Paul George. I think maybe they should have just kept SGA. Shout out to Paul George. He is a great player. He is a top 10 player to me, in my estimation. Some may feel differently, but I still look at him as a top 10 player. Matter of fact, I probably will put him at number 10. Maybe 9 or 10, somewhere in there, if I had to try to think of 10, great players that I would, make a team with or something like that. But regardless, either way, I'm not saying SGA is a top 10 player or anything like that. But what I'm saying is his upside and the way he plays, he's so in control of his game. Looks like, he's almost like a Kawhi Leonard to a degree. Nobody speeds him up. He plays at his own pace, but he is a very, unique, but lethal scorer to me. Like, he scores in ways at times when I watch him play where it's like, some of his scoring can go unnoticed because it's not as sexy at times. But then again, he can give you a splash at times the way he plays, So to me, besides all that, Kawhi Leonard has to have a say so in this. And to me, if he has a say so, I don't see Kawhi Leonard going along with it. Now, of course, there could be a situation where strength in numbers, they take a vote on the team who would really want to play with Russell Westbrook. And if most people, the majority vote, maybe they will go with it. I don't know. But me personally, if I were them, I'd listen to Kawhi Leonard. I would listen to the main guy on the team that's won a championship. Paul George is a main guy on the team. He is, no doubt about that. But he's not the main guy who's won a championship. And to win a championship, you have to do certain things, have certain personnel, and play a certain way. And with Paul George not winning a championship, he's still trying to find himself of getting a championship. And the only way he's going to do that is if his counterpart, Kawhi Leonard, the best player on the team, has a say-so in whatever goes down, in which we all know that Kawhi will. But at the same time, I've said before, I don't really think no team can win with Russell Westbrook. Then again, you could say, or should I say this, most people would, flip that back at me or say, retract that back at me by saying, oh, well, if Russell Westbrook comes off the bench, he can play some good minutes and his turnovers might not hurt as bad because he's covered up by so many shooters. And, honestly, that's what Paul George said. And, I've listened to what, Skip and Shannon has said about this and everything. And to me, I'm basically with them. You can get production out of Russell Westbrook, but if you're trying to win a championship, I just don't know, or I just don't believe that would be the case. And that's basically what Skip and Shannon were saying. If you looked at their show, and heard them speak on this topic. And, I'm basically, I'm basically the same way. I can't say 110% for sure they're not going to win a championship because Russell Westbrook's on the roster. I feel that way because of what I've seen from Russell Westbrook. Unless Russell Westbrook, goes there and changes his mentality and changes his game a little bit and ease up on some of the turnovers, I just don't really see how he can help the Clippers. And then on top of that, the Clippers are such a good shooting team. Yeah, they can cover up some of his mistakes because they can shoot so well. But at the same time, there's going to be a moment in time in the playoffs where Russell Westbrook is going to be the only one that's unguarded. And he's going to have to knock down that 3-point shot consistently, or at least enough to help the Clippers get over the hump. And I don't believe that Russell Westbrook can do that. I'm not saying for 100% sure he wouldn't do it, because we don't know what the future holds, whatever team he goes to, or what he would be, what he's going to do. But based upon the evidence of what I've seen in Russell Westbrook's career, he's not a great 3-point shooter. He's not one this year. He's probably dead last, or one of the dead last finalists when it comes to being the worst 3-point shooter percentage-wise in the league this year, amongst other years that he's played, even though he's played at a higher level due to the fact of him having a lot of triple-doubles and due to the fact of him being, the guy on a team being very ball dominant and having opportunity to play at that high level. He still didn't shoot the 3-pointer well. He shot it better years ago than what he does now, I believe. But still, he's never been a good 3-point shooter. You can't space the floor with him. You can't trust his basketball IQ, because his turnovers sometimes make you scratch your head and wonder, why did he even try that? And or it makes you wonder how the hell he get to the NBA making turnovers like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's basketball IQ. It's not being able to space the floor. And, you can have him coming off the bench and everything if that's what they choose to do. But that's what they got Norman Powell for. Norman Powell is exactly what they need coming off the bench. Norman Powell is a bucket coming off the bench. Norman Powell can give you 20 to 30 points at times coming off the bench. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't need Russell Westbrook scoring. You don't need him to do that, because you got Norman Powell for that. You know what I'm saying? And Russell Westbrook wouldn't get that much playing time, I don't think, because the problem with the Clippers that a lot of people spoke upon was, or that speak about, or, whatever the case may be, is the fact that the Clippers got a lot of depth, and everybody can't get a piece of the pie. Everybody can't eat. Some are being left out. Some wish they would be playing more. And that's just the sacrifice you got to make when you want to win a championship, and when you have to understand your role and play it at a high level, whatever your role is, and do that and until a championship is won. That's the formula. You see what I'm saying? But everybody's not going to buy in. And I don't know where Russell Westbrook would fit in with the Clippers in regards to getting minutes like that, because as I said before, is Ty Lue going to take away Norman Powell's minutes to allow Russ to come off the bench and give them the minutes he gave the Los Angeles Lakers? I don't think so. I mean, he might, but I don't know if that's really something that, Ty Lue wants to test out. I mean, Ty Lue's been known to experiment, but I can tell you now, the experiment that he's had with this team so far, with all the depth that he's had problems in that area. So I don't know if bringing Russell Westbrook on to the Clippers would be the ideal situation, being the fact that they got so much depth and it's only one basketball to go around and everybody can't touch it. I just don't see how that would fare. And there, like I said before, the spacing is an issue because he can't shoot. And don't think for 1 second in the playoffs, if hypothetically he was on the Clippers, he wouldn't be put in a situation where he has to knock down that shot, or, basically somebody standing 2 or 3 feet away from him, daring him to take the shot because they know he's not going to hit it 9 times out of 10. So it's like, when you think about that, how does Russ really equate to this team, and how does he correlate, and how can he help this team? Because really what you have to think about as a fan, or just a fan of the Clippers, a fan of the NBA, fan of basketball, watching this team, whatever you want to call it, any team you like out there, any team that you pull for, you have to ask yourself, if they're going to make a trade as a team, as an organization, what are they getting in return that can benefit them? Not what are they getting in return that they can add to the team to give them more depth? The Clippers already have enough depth. They got plenty of that. They don't need more depth than what they already have. If they're going to bring they just needed a point guard and they needed an extra big man. And, technically they kind of got both, because, Bones can play the point guard position, but there again, he is young, and I do understand, and he's never been in playoff situations like that, which is the reason why I think a lot of the players on the Clippers are pulling for Russell Westbrook. The fact that he's never won a championship and he still got something left and he's got something to prove, and they need a veteran at the point guard position at times too. But that's what I'm saying. What type of veteran leadership are you getting at that position if you allow Russ to run the point coming off the bench? if he's going to give you 4 to 5 turnovers that can cause you to lose the game. I mean, honestly, I feel like the Lakers might feel, relieved that they might have let go of Russell Westbrook. And I'm not hating on Russ, because I think Russ is, like I said, he's a top 75 player. He's a great player, and he was one of the most exciting players I've watched at one time. But the one thing I always said about him, championships are not going to come with Russell Westbrook if he's on your team, because of how the mistakes he make and the times and the moment in time that he makes them. He'll make that mistake he'll make a mistake in the fourth quarter that can completely flip the momentum of a game with one of his crazy turnovers. And now you're stuck in a situation where it's like, okay, how can you use him? He can't knock down a shot to recover for what he did because he can't shoot. He can only get to the rim. Some people believe he's lost a step. Then on top of that, you got to ask yourself too, is he good on defense? Yeah, he's okay on defense, but he's not known for his defense. So is he going to make a defensive play to make up for the turnover or whatever he did to possibly put give the momentum back to the other team rather than his team? You have to ask yourself these questions. You have to think about these things before you get Russell Westbrook. And I know the Clippers are thinking about all these things, but at the same time, they better make the right decision. And, whatever decision they make, whether they get him or they don't, they better make sure it's the right decision, because it's championship or bust for this team, and that's it. It's no other way out. It's no other way to look at it. It's no other way to slice it. Whoever they bring on, whatever depth they have, you got to win a championship this year. In my estimation, me personally, bare minimum, you got to make the finals. I prefer them, of course, to win it all, but bare minimum, you need to at least make the finals this season, because your window is closing and it's almost closed forever. So as a team, they got to make a run this year. So whoever they put on there, Russ or whoever they add, they have to be championship worthy, and they have to get them to the promised land. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Also, hit the notification bell so you can get the newest content. And hey, till next time.